Many people and parts of the world have been hit by the major shocks ranging from conflicts, COVID-19 pandemic, erratic weather patterns, earthquakes, droughts, flood pests and diseases, infestation, and floods after price spikes. To provide a platform that increase awareness in the field of agriculture towards food sustainability and security, these webinars serve as an avenue for presenting novel and fundamental advances in the field of agriculture. To our very innovative, supportive, and passionate SUC President of the Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, Dr. Alberto N. Naperi, to our competent and empowering Dean, Dr. Claribel C. Haber, honored guests, faculty members, students, agri-enthusiasts, facilitators, and online participants all over the Philippines. Welcome to the International Webinar on Recent Agri-Trends 2020 with the theme Smart and Resilient Agriculture towards Food Security. I am your host, Ms. Justin Rose Cano. To bless our day, let's begin our activity with a prayer to seek guidance to our Almighty God, and to be followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering us all today in this important endeavor. We ask that you bestow your guidance and blessing upon each attendee. May we honor one another by keeping an open mind. May we voice our truth and listen with an open heart. Bless everyone present today, that each may be able to share his or her contributions and gifts. Grant good health and safety to loved ones left outside this room, and bestow peace and goodwill to all of us. We ask for your wisdom and grace to use our talents for the betterment of others. May the various activities related to this day be a success through your intervention. With gratitude, we offer this prayer in your name. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, telas ang sinangalan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang pinirang, kuya ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa nagatak tutok sa simoy at sa langit ang pagkaw, ay hinatang tulakaw sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang islang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pang ay di matitindig. Lumang ang araw ng walang pagsingka, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang hindi kaya ng pagkay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
To give us the opening remarks, allow me to call on our empowering and competent Dean of the
Recording in
Graduate School
progress.
of CBSUA, Dr. Claribel C. Habel.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so may I first request everyone to open camera. I'd like to see you in this very good morning. Okay, I can see that we have 51 participants in the room. So again, to all of you, good morning. I wish to acknowledge the President, Dr. Alberto Naperi. We hope to be joined by him in a little while. Of course, we now have in the room two of our speakers, I guess three. We have Mr. Abzar, Ma'am Rose Imperial, and uh, the one from the ICT. So I'd like to say my warm greetings to everyone, especially to the organizers of this webinar, the graduate seminar students of Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, the PhD Plant Science, MS Plant Science, MS Plant Protection, and MS Animal Science students. I also wish to acknowledge the program chairpersons, Dr. Ana Vipandor, Dr. Alan Del Rosario, Ms. Saila Avila, and Mr. Carlos Sabales. Thank you very much for your support. And of course, I'd like to say hi to our participants. I was informed by the organizers that we have participants coming from Germany, Vietnam, Israel, the United Arab Emirates, Japan, and of course from the different regions in the Philippines. Perhaps they will be joining in a little while, but they have registered. I am happy to note that our classes in the graduate school, like you, are undertaking transformative and inclusive learning experiences, especially that the COVID-19 pandemic has become a huge challenge to education systems. But even after we have continued to do these laudable activities, I am very proud of you. With this activity, you are one with our graduate school in upholding and pushing for smart and resilient agriculture, it being a key towards sustainable food security, as our theme for this activity puts it. This is very important for our academic and professional growth for building a sustainable economy. With the inputs to be given by our resource persons for today, this webinar shall provide a wide breadth of interesting and challenging topics, and we can have discussions on a global perspective. We have invited resource speakers who are very competent, not only from the Philippines, but also from other parts of the world. With these discussions, we hope to address current issues in agriculture to achieve resiliency and food security. With this, of course, I wish to thank the resource speakers who have said yes to our invitation. Of course, we have Ma'am Rose Imperial, who will be giving her talk after this opening program. We have Dr. Nishibori Masahide. Ma'am Rose is coming from the Department of Agriculture. Ma'am Rose, thank you. I know you are now in the room. We have Dr. Nishibori Masahide from Japan, Hiroshima University. We also have Dr. Ernesto Tabing from the INMES, or the National Meat Inspection Service of Region 5. Mr. Absar is already in the room from the University of Putra, Malaysia. We also have Mr. John Paul Escordes from the DICT Region 5. Thank you, Sir John. Also, Mr. Alangelico San Pascual of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Miss Federica Varine from Netherlands, Germany. And Ma'am Arlene Joaquin from Philmec Nueva Ecija. Thank you very much to all of you. With it, I wish you all a well-engaged and productive day. I know that we will be having a very productive day with the inputs of our resource speakers. Thank you everyone for joining us, and a very good morning to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Wer. This activity will not materialize without your encouragement and full support. To inspire us with some words of wisdom, may I now call on Dr. Alberto N. Naperi, the SUC President of the Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, to give message. Okay, so now let's hear first the presentation of Mr. Alvin J. Milan, head of the organizing team, on the overview of the activity and to acknowledge honored guests, facilitators, and online participants.
To our SUC President, Dr. Alberto N. Naperi, to the Dean of the Graduate School, Dr. Claribel C. Haber, and the rest of the CBSUA family, to our resource speakers and participants, a pleasant morning to each and everyone. At this point, allow me to give a short background of our international webinar activity. The world is facing a number of challenges that threaten the sustainability of food production, security, and distribution. These challenges include climate change, natural disasters, increasing population, and changing dietary habits. To address these challenges, there is a need for smart and resilient agriculture that can adapt to the changing conditions and provide sustainable food security. With this in mind, an international webinar on recent Agri-trends was organized by the Central Bicol State University of Agriculture Graduate School in collaboration with the Digital Agriculture and Innovation Center Extension Services Division with the theme Smart and Resilient Agriculture Towards Sustainable Food Security. This webinar is very timely and relevant activity that aims to promote sustainable agriculture and food security in the Philippines and other countries around the world. We all know that agriculture plays a crucial role in the development of any country as it is the primary source of food and livelihood for millions of people. However, the agricultural sector is facing various challenges, including climate change, natural disasters, declining soil fertility, and limited access to resources and technologies. These challenges threaten the productivity, profitability, and sustainability of agriculture and pose a threat to food security and rural livelihoods. In response to these challenges, there is a need to promote smart and resilient agriculture towards sustainable food security. This requires the adoption of innovative and sustainable agricultural practices, the use of advanced technologies and tools, the development of policies and strategies that support sustainable agriculture, and the promotion of collaborations and partnerships among different stakeholders. This activity aims to provide a platform for experts, researchers, professionals, extension workers, students, and stakeholders to share their insights, experiences, and knowledge on the challenges and opportunities in the agricultural sector and to discuss strategies and solutions that can promote smart and resilient agriculture towards sustainable food security. This webinar will also provide an opportunity to exchange ideas, build partnerships, and promote collaborations that can contribute to the development of sustainable agriculture and food security. To provide a wide breadth of interesting and challenging topics, this activity will tackle the latest cutting edge research designed to offer comprehensive global discussions that would address current issues in agriculture to achieve resiliency and food security. This will also afford an exceptional opportunity for renewing old acquaintances, making new contacts, networking, and facilitating partnerships across international and interdisciplinary borders. We have invited local and international renowned personalities to serve as subject matter experts for the conduct of this activity. To discuss food safety and regulation, we have invited the Chief of the Regulatory Division of the Department of Agriculture Regional Field Office Number 5, Ms. Rosita M. Imperial. For the advanced animal breeding, we have invited a professor from Hiroshima University, Japan, Dr. Nishiburi Masahide. For the status of African swine fever in the Philippines, we have invited the supervising meat control officer from the National Meat Inspection Service Regional Office 5, Dr. Ernesto D. Tabing. For the organic farming, we have invited a PhD candidate from the University of Putra, Malaysia, Mr. Absar Khan, to discuss on digital applications and innovations. We have invited the expertise of the Department of Information and Communication Technology Regional Office Number 5 to be given to us by the Information Systems Analyst, Mr. John Paul Cordes. For the ornamental breeding, we have invited Mr. Alan Jellico O. San Pascual from the Institute of Plant Breeding College of Agriculture and Food Sciences, University of the Philippines, Los Baños, Laguna. And for the organic agriculture participatory guarantee system, we have invited Ms. Federica Barini, a PGS expert from the Naturland EV company based in Germany. For the mechanization, post-harvest, logistic, and marketing, we have Ms. Arlene C. Joaquin, the acting chief of the Agricultural Mechanization Division from the Philippine Center for Post-Harvest Development and Mechanization, Science City, Muñoz, Nueva Ecija. At this point, my dear friends, allow me also to acknowledge our guests, resource speakers, and participants. So we have invited diverse group of participants from various sectors, including graduate and undergraduate students, researchers, teachers, agricultural extension workers, and other stakeholders from the northernmost region of Luzon down to the southernmost corner of Mindanao and other parts of the world. As of 8 p.m. yesterday, we have recorded 533 registered online participants, 288 of which are undergraduate students and 245 are professionals. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all our virtual participants from these three major island groups in the Philippines and other parts of the world. We appreciate your attendance to this training and we recognize the efforts you've made to join us despite the challenges of time zones and technical connectivity. From Luzon, composed of 7 regions, we have a total of 254 registered participants. From the Cordillera Administrative Region, we have 9 registered participants. 13 from Region 1 Ilocos Region, 8 from Region 2 Cagayan Valley, 18 from Region 3 Central Luzon, 7 from Region 4A Calabarzon, 3 from Region 4B Mimaropa, and 193 from Region 5 Bicol. From Visayas, composed of 3 regions, we have a total of 149 registered participants. 6 from Region 6 Western Visayas, 139 from Region 7 Central Visayas, and 4 from Region 8 Eastern Visayas. From Mindanao, composed of 6 regions, we have a total of 125 registered participants, 7 from Region 9 Zamboanga Peninsula, 6 from Region 10 Northern Mindanao, 9 from Region 11 Davao Region, 7 from Region 12 Soxargen, 95 from Region 13 Caraga, and 1 from Bangsamoro Autonomous Region and Muslim Mindanao, and 3 from the National Capital Region. So we are very happy to acknowledge also participants coming from the international. So we have 1 participant coming from Germany, Vietnam, Israel, United Arab Emirates, and Japan. For our resource speaker this morning, we have Ms. Rosita Imperial of the ARFO 5, Dr. Ernesto Tabing of NMIS, and Sir John Paul Condes of DICT. So to, we are thrilled to have you with us and will look forward to a fruitful and engaging learning experience together. Once again, thank you for being a part of this international training, and we hope that your participation will be both informative and inspiring. Without further ado, once again, good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Milan. We are so excited to learn a lot from this international webinar. Are you excited, guys? To begin with our first topic, allow me to introduce to you our first speaker. She is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Education in Quezon Agricultural School, major in horticulture, minor in animal science. She is also a graduate of Masters of Science in Resource Management at the Central Bicol State University of Agriculture. She is a former staff of Regional Crop Pest Management Center, Planning, Monitoring, and Evaluation Division, Field Operation Division assigned in High Value Crop Development Program, and now she is a chief of the Regulatory Division of the Department of Agriculture and Food Safety. She will be discussing the food safety and regulation. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Rosita Medinilla Imperial.
Ayun na. Okay, good morning. Hello.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, clear ho ba ang boses ko dyan, ang sound?
Yes po.
Okay, thank you to our sponsors, the 533 participants all over the country, and our international participants, to the management and staff of Central Bicol University of Agriculture, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. So today, I want to thank the organizer for inviting me to discuss with you the food safety and regulations of the Department of Agriculture in the Philippines, as well as in the Department of Agriculture Region 5. So I'm only given 30 minutes to discuss this topic. So okay lang ho ba kung diretso na? So my topic is food safety and regulations. But before we proceed with all the regulatory functions of the Department of Agriculture on food safety, may I first give you some background or rationale behind the food safety. As we all know that food safety is the assurance and guarantee will not cause harm to consumers when it is prepared and or eaten according to its intended use. Can I have the slide, please? Okay. So the food safety is the assurance and guarantee the food will not cause harm to consumer when it's prepared and or eaten according to its intended use. As mentioned earlier a while ago, that there are so many challenges we are facing right now. And one of these challenges is food safety. So there are some challenges and food safety with that will continue to emerge largely because of the following. So we have changes in our food production and supply. Next slide, please. Including more imported foods. And then we have changes in the environment leading to food contamination. And then the new and emerging bacteria, toxins, and antimicrobial resistance, which is the overuse and misuse of antibiotics that causes the antimicrobial resistance, and the use of these antibiotics only after proper diagnosis and prescription of a licensed veterinarian. And we have changes in consumer preferences and habits, and the changes in the tests that diagnose foodborne illness. So these are some of the few challenges that we are facing with regards to food safety. So we have some emerging issues, challenges also. Next slide. This is the pagpag foods in the Philippines, which is now a booming business. So we know a lot of them. Filipinos preferred for this pagpag foods because one of the reason it is cheap, accessible, affordable to every Filipinos. But not knowing there are a lot of challenges that on food safety on this. And then another is that our habit of eating foods na pwede pa ba yan? Next slide. So, next slide please. Pwede pa ba yan kainin? So, yung karamihan ho sa atin, pwede pa. Because yun, may nagtitipid tayo and then even though we are not aware of the fact that this food that we eat are already expired and we are not meticulous about the expiration date of these foods. So next. So these are some of the habits that the Filipinos usually do. And then another one is yung sometimes the food that we love and are usually contaminated. Ang sarap-sarap kumain. Contaminated with germs and that causes sickness and can even be deadly. So that is the usual way of life of some of us, lalo na ho yung mga nagtitipid. And then another habit that we have is that we usually, next slide, these foods yung mga panlasang Pinoy na because we want to prolong the shelf life of this food, we usually eat this kind of seashell like contaminated, binabad na siya sa mga chemicals and we are not aware of them and then malalaman na lang po natin meron na tayong allergy. So these are some of the challenges that we are facing under the food safety. So there are a lot of issues, food safety issues in the Philippines. And this one is pesticide, yung pesticide residue na we usually found in fresh fruits and vegetables, heavy metals like lead. Lead is one of the problem, the issues that on food safety and even yung mercury, arsenic, and cadmium. And the aflatoxin is usually found in corn and peanut. Histamines, which is usually found in fermented food, packaged meat, aged cheese and legumes, and yung allergy, red tide, physical contamination and processed food, microbial contamination, sanitation, and hygiene. So these are the food safety issues that we are facing to increase production for food security, but also we must be assured that the food that we produce are safe. So Republic Act number 10611, which is known as the Food Safety Act of 2013, was enacted on August 23, 2013. It provides the legal framework to strengthen the food safety regulatory system in the country, exposing the to four continuum principle. So with this app, it identified the Department of Health, the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Interior, local government as the key agency players in the implementation of this app. It further delineates the mandate on ensuring food safety among the food safety regulatory agencies of the Department of Health and the Department of Agriculture. So, the functions between these two agencies and other agencies are delineated by this act. So, the principal's responsibilities under 10.611, the Department of Agriculture, next slide please, shall be responsible for food safety in the primary production and post-harvest stages of food supply chain and foods locally produced or imported in this category. So very clear ho yung responsibility ng DA, primary production, meaning to say fresh produce. Ang isang bagay na hindi pa siya linalagyan ng kung ano-ano mang chemicals or whatever, na fresh pa siya, ay sa Department of Agriculture po yan. The moment ang karne, yung meat, ay linagyan na ng asin, ay sa Department of Health na yan because the Department of Health shall be responsible born illnesses. So that's the delineation of function between the Department of Agriculture and the Department of Health. So fresh produce from the farm, that is the sole responsibility of the Department of Agriculture. The moment na yung binili yung pagkain ay linagyan na ng kung ano pa man, even though it is a semi-processed product, it is now sa Department of Health. So that what is the role of the local government units? The LGU shall be responsible for food safety and food businesses, such as but not limited to activities and slaughterhouses, dressing plants, fish ports, wet markets, supermarkets, school canteens, restaurant, catering establishment, and water refilling stations. The local government shall be responsible for street food sale, including ambulant vending. So napakalaki ho ng responsibility ng local government units under Republic Act 10.611. So what are the specific, because the DA will focus on the primary production of the food supply under the food supply chains, Rule 16 of Republic Act 10.611, the agencies under the Department of Agriculture with food safety regulatory functions are the following. So tulong-tulong ho yung Department of Agriculture because we have different attached agencies and bureaus that is responsible for a specific production of commodity per commodity. The Bureau of Animal Industry will focus on food derived from animals, including eggs and honey production. We have the National Dairy Authority for milk production and post-harvest handling. Now we have the National Meat Inspection Service for pero walang asin.
Okay, to our online participants, please stand by. Our speaker is experiencing a technical difficulties. So if you have any questions, please type them into chat box. Okay. So while waiting, okay. So our speaker is back.
Okay. Hello, good morning. Nawala yata ako sa signal. Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Konti lang naman po.
Okay. So, post-harvest stage. So, a specific commodity. So, we have also other support agencies that help us on this implementation of Republic Act 10611. And one of these is the Bureau of Agriculture. Including those for organic agriculture. Next slide po. And we have also the Food Development Center of the NFA, which is responsible to provide scientific support and testing, research, and training. Because all of our regulatory decisions are anchored on a science-based regulations. So we have this FDC na dati ho siya sa NFA is now considered as one of our attached agencies and bureaus. And of course, we have the Agricultural Training Institute for harmonization of food safety trainings and other capacity building initiatives. So all of these attached agencies and support agencies are working geared towards to address all the challenges as earlier discussed, the challenges of food safety. So the food safety is not only the sole responsibilities of the agencies that I've mentioned earlier, but food safety is a shared responsibilities of each and every one of us. So we have here the national government agency who will be working closely with all of these food business operators shall also contribute towards food safety, addressing the food safety issues. Household, it food manufacturers, distributors, outlets, exporters, and importers. We have the consumers groups and private organization. The street vendors and ambulant vendors should also have as a responsibility on food safety. Research institutions, academe, the local government unit, and the regulatory agencies, and the food producers, processors, and handlers. So, tulong-tulong ho tayo nito. Hindi lang ho ito para sa mga agencies na na-mention ko, both for primary production, post-harvest, up to processing, because food safety is a shared responsibilities. Now, food safety does not happen. We have to know, do, and follow through. So, food safety usually begins in the farm. So, yan ho yung concept natin. That's why as the responsible for the primary production, the Department of Agriculture being responsible for the primary production. Next slide, please. Okay. Food safety cannot be achieved. Food security, yung theme natin, for food security cannot be achieved without food safety. Next. And food quality is compromised without food safety. So, bawat galaw natin, kailangan alam natin na responsible po tayo sa food safety. And this does not just happen. We have to know, do, and follow through. Next. So, marami hong hazard na nag-o-occur. Because food safety usually start from the farm, we have to know the hazard. Kung ano yung nasa farm. From the start ng food supply chains, from growing, harvesting, processing, storage, distribution, retailing, and final preparation, meron pong issue ang food safety dyan. Next. And these are the bacteria, yeast, protozoa, molds, and viruses. And then we have tinatawag nating chemical hazards. These are pesticide residue na kalimitan na sa ating vegetable. Siyang stone, twigs, and yung stems from fruits. And also, yung minsan meron tayong mga metal fragment or plastics. These are all the physical hazard na nakaka-contribute po sa food safety. Next slide. So, paano natin ito? Ayan yung sinabi ko. Yung foodborne illnesses, very common ito. Illnesses carried or transmitted to people by food. So, per statistic, 61% of foodborne illness comes from food service. And then 30% from the home and 7% only coming from the plant. So, foodborne illnesses in the US each year. So, 5,000 per year now hospitalized with a death of 5,000 per year caused by foodborne illnesses. Next slide. So, ito yung mga nag-result po ng foodborne illnesses. So, yung may high fever, may lagnat. So, yan yung mga nangyayari kung nakakain tayo, meron siya hazard ng foodborne illness symptoms. Next slide, please. Okay. So, ang chemical hazard naman, yung chemical contaminants and raw fruits and vegetables may be naturally occurring or may be added during agricultural production, post-harvest handling, and other operations. Harmful chemicals at high levels have been associated with acute toxic responses and with chronic illnesses. So these are the pesticide residue, fertilizer residue. So these are some of the examples of the chemicals, contaminant na minsan na-absorb natin, kasama sa foods. And then yung mga heavy metals. Next slide. Oh, what? So these are yung nasabi ko ng mga examples of chemical hazard. Yung physical hazard, yung mga foreign bodies, residual soil and stones found on fruits and vegetables, the packaging remains from harvesting as wood and metal, and the packaging materials and storage facilities such as plastic and cardboard na nare-retain ho natin sa prepare natin ng ating mga foods. And then the foreign matter collected during harvesting, glass and sharp object, and the personal effects. Yung minsan ay iwan yung mga singsing, yung mga jewelries natin sa preparation natin ng food, and even yung mga hairpins at saka yung mga buhok na napapasan. These are some of the examples contamination from planting.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Okay, nawala yata. Nawawala ako. Okay. So, these are some of the practices na kailangan po natin mabigyan ng pansin para po ma-minimize ang issues ng food safety. And this is the good agricultural practices. So, ang tinatawag na GAP are the basic environmental and operational conditions that are necessary for the production of safe, wholesome fruits and vegetables. So, dito ho sa GAP, we can with this, isa-summarize ko lang po yung food safety program, yung sinabi natin sa Republic Act 10611, the Farm for Tinu. So we have prepared this para ho mabigyan ho natin yung insight kung paano ho natin itong food safety program. So we have different actors. Meron tayong mga different stakeholders na responsible for a specific area of concern. If the DA will focus on the primary production and post-harvest stage of the food supply chain, the local government primary actors of this, nandun sa kanila yung production area, right? Na doon ho natin muna i-focus yung ating intervention for food safety. And these areas are under the which revised of 2013, 10-6-11, enacted by the dati ho nating President Ninoy Aquino. So, provide us the legal framework to strengthen the food safety regulatory systems in the country, exposing the farm to fork continuum principle or the farm to fork concept. So it identified here that the Department of Health, as earlier mentioned, and the Department of Agriculture and the Department of Interior and Local Government as the key agency players in the implementation of this act. It further delineates, as earlier explains, the mandates on ensuring food safety among the food safety regulatory agencies of the DOH and DA. Since the DA is responsible for the primary production of food and then the post-harvest stage, the DA together with our attached agency, the food safety regulatory agencies of the Bureau of Plant Industry, the Bureau of Animal Industry, the National Meat Inspection Service, the National Dairy Authority, the Philippine Coconut Authority, the Sugar Regulatory Agency, the Fertilizer and Pesticide Authority, and BFAR and ATI, will implement uh, the 5 pillars of under the Food Safety Act, which we called as the building blocks of the food safety, which is the rules and regulation, and then food control system or food control management. Enforcement services will be under the Department of Interior and Local Government. And DA will work on the epidemiological data and laboratory services, information and communication and advocacy. So these are the pillars or the building blocks na-anchor ho namin yung aming implementation ng Food Safety Act. Under the rules and regulations, under the primary production, both from the primary production and post-harvest stage, the rules and regulations is the development of relevant and enforceable food laws and regulations. So a clear mandate and authority to prevent food safety problems and updated food standard, which will take advantage of Codex standard. So we have here several activities, which is the inspection farms, feed mills, feed outlets, feed products, anti-mortem and carcass inspection, ongoing po siya. And then risk assessment and risk analysis, good agricultural practices, good animal husbandry practices certification, and issuance of license to operate permits. So under the rules and regulation as one of our pillars, we have to implement and regulate all this to prevent the problem of food safety. And our pillar number 2 is food control management. Under the food control management, we have traceability and monitoring, training on the preparation of manual of operation, securing funds, and allocating resources for this purpose. The core responsibility under the food control management include the establishment of regulatory measures, monitoring system performance, facilitating continuous improvement, and providing overall policy guidelines. So this is under our pillar number 2, which is food control management. For number 4, epidemiological data and laboratory services. By the way, for food control management, we omit here yung research and development na pwede ho kayo pumasok dito. One effective way to merged under this pillar number 2 for food control management. To ensure that a product is safe for consumption, food safety should be considered during the initial stages of a product's life cycle. So incorporating food initial stages of a product life cycle or incorporating food safety into research and development can be tricky as safety considered may be changed to initial idea or concept of a new food product. So we need your help, yung mga academic at ones natin, to the conduct of research and development under the food control management. So we all know that the process in developing a product are evaluated through a hazard assessment, which we really need it right now. The hazard assessment is comprised of microbial quality, regulatory stability, and physical hazard assessment. So I would like to encourage all the participants here to try to consider research and development under the food control incorporating all the hazards I explained earlier: microbial hazard, chemical hazard, and physical hazard. So this can be one of the areas, researchable areas that you can propose. And then our next is the pillar is epidemiological data and laboratory services. So this will cut across all from the input supply, fertilizer, pesticides, veterinary drugs, and the safe use of veterinary drugs and pesticide, technical assistance to disease surveillance, prevention, and control, then link it to our laboratory we considered laboratories are essential component of a food control system. So we must for sophisticated and reference analysis. So this laboratory must be certified to ISO 170. So we all know that this is we have to increase malaki ang role for food safety control system na information, communication, and advocacy in the delivery of information, education, and advice to stakeholders across the farm to fork continuum. Dito sa sinasabi ho natin, we have to, these activities in the provision should include the provision of a balance, actual information to consumer, provision of information packages and educational programs for key officials, more specifically to our policymakers and workers in the food industry, and that the development of the train the trainers program and provision of reference to extend in the agriculture and health sectors. So all these pillars cut across from the primary production up to post-harvest stage of the food supply chain, so that this way we can attain our goal for a safe and nutritious food for all. Thank you very much. Uh, so if you want to live longer, make every day a food safety day. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Rose Imperial. So that is so informative, especially for us consumers. So we all know that Filipinos and other nationalities are food lover, and we must know how to attain safe and healthy food. So we are enlightened also to the specific responsibilities of the different government agencies under the umbrella of the Department of Agriculture to ensure food safety. As quoted by Ma'am Rose, food security cannot be achieved without food safety. And the food quality is compromised without food safety. That's how important food security and regulations for all of us. I'm sure, Ma'am Rose, our audience learned a lot from your discussion. So at this juncture, we will take some time answering three questions from the online participants. So for our online participants, please type your questions into the chat box if you have any questions. Okay, so Ma'am Rose, the first question is, do we have food safety standard for fresh cut fruits and vegetables? From Kim Jan Nate, from the Graduate School of the CBSUA, student from the Graduate School.
Good. Okay, we have we have food safety standard for fresh cut fruits and vegetables. You can find it. We have the Philippine National Standard and the Food Safety Standards from the Bureau of Fisheries and Product Standards, yung BAFS, Agricultural Fisheries Product Standards po. Nasa ano naman siya, nasa web naman siya, or we can provide you with a volume of standards for fresh cut fruits and vegetables. We have, yes.
Okay, thank you po, Ma'am Rose. So it looks like we have only one question. Okay, so siguro nagtatype pa yung ating mga online participants. Okay po, kung wala na. Okay, to show our appreciation, yes. Hello, ma'am. So wala na pong nakasulat sa aming chat box. Oh, may pahabol pa, ma'am. So, ang question po, earlier po, you mentioned about aflatoxin. What is the existing method of detection of aflatoxin in the commodity?
So we have laboratory analysis for aflatoxins. You can submit samples, like for instance, for corn, if you have. So ang methods namin dito, ang process namin, usually we collect samples, most especially sa feeds ng animals. So natin, we collect feed samples to determine the level of aflatoxin level sa aming then submit it to our laboratory. So yan yung methods natin. Or meron who suspect even for pesticide, aflatoxin. So samples of fresh produce must be collected for laboratory analysis.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you po. Ma'am, pahabol lang pong question. Meron po bang bayad yung pagpapa-analyze ng ating mga contaminated commodities po?
Actually, meron hong bayad for private sector. For research and for our policy, wala ho siyang bayad. Pero Depend ho sa use ng ipapa-analyze nyo. If the purpose is for private use, syempre may bayad. Pero kung for research, for government, syempre free. So, you can submit samples. Meron ho tayo ditong laboratory sa Regional Integrated Laboratory at 𝐷𝐴RFO5 San Agustin, Camarines.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you po. May follow-up question pa po, ma'am. So, in your data po, what commodity po have highest rate of infection of aflatoxin?
Or
Appreciation to our speaker. Okay. Let me read to you the content of the certificate. So, Republic of the Philippines, Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, Certificate of Appreciation is hereby given to Ms. Rosita M. Imperial in grateful appreciation and acknowledgement of her expertise. On May 5, 2023 at Central Bicol State University of Agriculture. Given this 5th day of May 2023 at the Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, San Jose, Camarines Sur. Signed, Claribel C. Haber, PhD, Dean, Graduate School. Signed, Alberto N. Naperi, EPA, SUC President 4. A round of applause, please, Ma'am Rose. Online participants, please stand by. So, magpapapicture lang tayo with our speaker. So, okay, so ready na po ba ang lahat? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay, so our next speaker for this morning, he is a professor and a graduate of Master of Agriculture and Doctor of Agriculture degree from the Hiroshima University. Okay. He was also visiting professor at Visayas State University by Leyte since 2016. He has also participated in and given catered lectures at programs and events including Herabeki, Tokimeki Science, Innovativeness and Excitement of Science. So let's welcome Dr. Masahide Nishipori.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you so much, and the nice nice and the presentation. Uh, can I also share the content? Okay. Oh, thank you. Can I share? Is it
Yes,
possible
sir.
to
Yes,
see?
sir.
Oh, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much again. And this is a very nice and international webinar conference. Uh, I today, so I inform you that so the title is Advanced Animal Breeding. Then the content is chicken and the pig, the domestication and genetic diversity and migration to the worldwide, especially the southern east, Southeast Asian countries. Okay, and the first slide, please, here. Okay, next one. Okay, today's and the titles are here, and I am also the professor of the Hiroshima University. I include the graduate school. One is a graduate school, the integrated science, so for life, and another is a graduate school, the innovation and practice for the smart society, and this and the schools advocate for this just a moment. And the contents is the one and the introduction, and second, and the chicken, and the third, and the pig. The final is many animals, the good resources. It is the best to understand, use, and conserve them. So, and the Euro countries are very nice to have good animal resources. So you must use these resources. Today's topics is mainly here. Okay, and this is the key message to you. Understanding the genetic diversity and the structure and the relationships and the evolutionary history of Asian native domesticated animal. For example, the pig and the chicken and the cattle and others, and their ancestral wild ones. For example, the chicken is a jungle fowl and the pig is a wild boar. That is very important for the improving the future and breeding and for the conservation of genetic resources in the uh, Philippines and also the world. Okay, and first topics is the chickens. Now it's in Japan, so many kinds of the Japanese native chicken breed. This one is long-tailed chickens, and there is so many type of the native chickens. And this on the right side, this is a very interesting one, and that one, the Vietnam native chicken, name is Don Tao. He has so big, big and the legs, and this is a very strong one. Okay, and we have so many breed and variation of the native chickens also in your country. This one is a type of the stamps like this. Also in your country, the Philippines one use so the chickens and the jungle fowls. So many. So and the chicken is a very familiar to us for life and for example as a food. Okay. Yes, and this one's one of the interesting ones. That here's the egg of the ducks. So this is a very tasty. And when when I eat, so the becomes so the strongly. Okay. And yes, and this is a familiar topics. We use so many the chicken's meat for and yeah the Mac, you know, the McDonald, and there was so many kind of the fast food and includes your soul food the Jollibee. Okay, we use the chicken meat to these food. Okay, we know. Yes, and this graph is a very so the interesting. In your country, the most use the chicken meat of the native or the local chickens one, and about the 45% in your the chickens, and the second one and the broiler, and third one and the layer. Mainly the native chicken in your country. Also the in Asia. Okay, so and we the analysis of the origin and the history of the domestication of the chickens and the migration using mitochondria. You know, the mitochondria, the DNA, that is a very strong the genetic marker to decide the history and the domestication history and genes, the migration and the domestication, then and the domestication and migrate to the world. You know, there are the jungle fowls in the world, and mainly the distribute in the Asian countries. You know you know the main origin of the jungle, the chicken of the red jungle fowl that distributes here about India, north of India, Nepal, Bhutan, and Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, and Cambodia, Indonesia, and also your country, the Philippines. Okay, you know, and the widely distribution of red jungle fowl. On the other hand, and the green jungle fowl only distributes in India, and the gray jungle fowl only in India. Last one is the Ceylon jungle fowl, only in Sri Lanka. The main big wide distribute of the red jungle fowl is main ancestor of the chickens we know. Yes, and this one and the red jungle fowl and the gauss, and the widely distribution and there and others and the green jungle fowl, Ceylon jungle fowl, and the gray jungle fowl only. Okay. So we visit so many Asian countries, and this figure when I visited the Laos about 1998, 1999. So this is a very primary scene to collect the sample of the chickens. For example, like this here, like this. And this one is Laos, and the next one, the Myanmar, to visit the Myanmar with correct when I correct the chicken's blood sample. So many persons gather to see the collection and our collections like this. The Myanmar. Next one is the Bhutan. You know the Bhutan is a very good country. Yeah, this one. Bhutan's and the chickens is a very interesting. The no feather around the neck like this, and the naked neck chickens distributed in the Bhutan. So many as a variation. Okay, and here is the countryside of the Bhutan. There the wild red jungle fowl we found in the Bhutan like this. Also this one is these ones are the Cambodia's one. Yes, and also this one, the Philippines red jungle fowl, is very beautiful, and he has and yellow ear lobe. This is a good. This is a nice characterization, and the white one. And other country the red one. Please see the ear lobe colors. That is important one. Yes, and chickens were domesticated mainly from red jungle fowl and in Asian countries. Okay, and how do you chickens migrate in the to the world? Now we have the chicken about 2 billion birds in the world. Okay, and sorry, not two, and 20 billion bird in the world like this. And here, except the Antarctica and the Vatican City state, others, and we have so many native chickens and domesticated chickens like this. This map is here, and we decide the genotype of mitochondria's DNA. So today is a topic. Today is the today the type and the genotypes B and the B and D and E. Maybe your country, maybe here D is mainly, and China and Thailand, and there's the mainly is B, and others, and Europe and Africa, West Asian countries are type E and genotype E. Today you remember the genotype B and D and E. Is okay? And the jungle fowl, as the jungle fowl, red jungle fowl, and the type B is is mainly the Thailand and the Gauss sparticius, and the haplotype and the D type D is originate in Asia of the Gauss bankiba. There's also the subspecies of red jungle fowl, and also genotype E is a Gauss murgi, and distribute in India. B and D and E. Okay, that is there is important genotype for us. Okay, and we decide the genotype using a mitochondrial information. Yes, okay, and we decide the mitochondrial genotype of the native chickens in the world using the native chickens. For example, your country here and mainly the haplotype D, and also Indonesia and this one is Indonesia mainly haplotype D, and others, for example, the America, Europe, and these countries, the blue one is a haplotype E. And the D is originate in the Indonesia, and the E is originate in the India, and then migrate like this, and the E and the D and the migrate like this, and the originate in India maybe near to your country, and the Pacific Oceans. And E in the district domesticate in the India, then bear the West Asian countries, Europe to the America, and so now the almost native chicken have the type E or type D or type B, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yes, and the type D, D is your country's one, and E is a European's one. Maybe European means a white leghorn and the white Plymouth dog and the other commercial chickens. Yes, okay. Maybe so that migration route is almost the same as the human migration. This and the figure presents the human migration. The route and the direction is here. Thailand to Borneo and your country to the Pacific Oceans, Pacific countries. Okay. So conclusion, and using the mitochondrial haplotype, haplogroup is a genotype of the chicken. Therefore, the understanding that these diversity haplotype genotype D and genotype E, they are important because here's a native chicken. This native chicken have some the character. What character is mainly the adaptation to the climate and the feed. Okay, your country is very hot, and your country's native chickens adapt to the hot climate. Okay, and the second one, and the disease is resistant. For example, the avian the influenza, something. So, and then the effective and the useful gene will identify from each haplogroup, especially and in your country, haplogroup D chicken and haplogroup E chicken, especially the haplogroup D chicken. D chicken is very important for your country. Okay, and there is also the red jungle fowl, the Philippines one, and mainly the haplogroup D, and the subgroup of the haplogroup E, and the D is a very important. You must decide the haplogroup D or E. Okay, and this is a migration route in the world. Okay, and the haplogroup D, the domestication maybe in Asia, then move to your country, and then the others. And the haplogroup E means the commercial chicken. And domesticate at India, then to the collaborate researcher in the BISHU, and the name is Dr. You should use the haplotype D chicken for your country's for your country. Okay. Okay. So and repeatedly. So there's the understanding the genotype and the genetic diversity and the structure, the relationships, the evolutionary history, and the red jungle fowl and the Asian native chickens, because this one's improving the future breeding and for the conservation of the genetic resources for your country and also the world. And because this character the important adaptation to the climate and the disease resistance. Okay, this is also the chickens one. Next one, and the pigs. Okay, yes, and there's pigs and the classification. Okay, that's one. You know that is also very interesting name of the Barbisa, and distribute in only in Asia. pig has so many variation and like this. Okay. By the way, do you see any pigs? And the pigs is mainly commercial pigs, and others, and the native pig, and others the wild pig. Wild pig means a wild boar, and your country and the pigs and the water pigs. For example, the water, like water is one, and here the Philippine water pigs. Water pigs. Okay. Next one is and the origin of the domestic pigs. Okay, and the scrofer, the wild boar, in like this. But um, warty, some of the warty pigs like this. I take the photo at the beside and the visual uh, wild boar to native pig. Okay, this is move and chain to domestication. Okay, and the domestication stage is started here to the domesticated one. This one, very big the difference of the ear type, and here these fat and the fatty fatty type and the color of the pigs like this. Okay, the wild boar is the color is very simple, and the domesticated pig, the color is very variable, and the face length is long, and the domesticated one in the short. The changes the type of the character. Okay, and now Asian breeds, about the 178 breeds, 33% in the world distributed in the Asian countries. Okay, and there's not wild boar. Wild boar type is a domesticated pigs. Look like the wild boar. This one Bangladesh, Nepal, and the Sri Lanka, and the Bhutan like this. Okay. Yes, and the and the wild boar distribute in the black area, and the exotic under this one and others. Maybe as exotic means move to from here to here by the human. Okay, and the original distributes the black area only. Okay. As and this one is a model of the domestication. And the domestication is a two place. One is a Europe one, and maybe the Europe wild boar distribute to domesticate to the domestic pigs, and others Asian wild boar domesticate to the Asian domestic pigs, and the two places of a domestication center. One is a Europe, one is Asian. That is very important factor. Okay, and 2005, and Dr. Larson published this paper, and he decides as the mitochondria genotype, and the European is a name of the D1. Okay, confused to the chickens. Okay, D1, and the Asian one, the D2, mainly the D1 genotype, and the D2 there is also the sample of the pigs. Native pig, there's a native pigs and the genotype maybe the D2 and also the Japanese wild pigs. And maybe the D2, we try to decide the mitochondrial DNA genotype of these and pigs at first, and using the molecular sexing technique. And the male is a two band, and decides all sample that decides sex determination like this. Very, very beautiful photo. Okay, and and wild boar has mainly average 10 teeth. Okay, 10 teeth, and domestic one the increase the number of the teeth, and the Chinese one is 16. 16 means 8 pairs of teeth. The increase the number of the teeth, so possible to care the newborn pigs. Can you understand this one? Okay, and the average of the 5 pairs of teeth, and after domestication, the increase the number of the teeth. This is a very, very interesting factor. Larson and our colleague and John King works, and he worked at the Capital State University. He decides Philippines mitochondrial genotype. And this big land, and then separate and independent of your country like this. Okay, so we collect the sample of native pig of your country like this. And this figure is very, very interesting. There's not wild boar. There's a domestic pigs. And take this photo taken by the Dr. John King and Cap State University, and also he collects a sample and decides a genotype. So, and decides the genotype of this one. This is sorry, so the very, very small phylogenetic tree. I explained the main statement. Next one. Okay, I don't know this one. Yes, here is the genotype. Your country's one, and the D2. Yeah, for example, Panay Island. The main is a D2. D2 is Asian's origin. The new D7. We decide the D7. Your country is the pink area. The D7 somehow all the D7 and the 7 and the 21, or maybe the 20, the D7, we decide the new genotype, the D7. D7 is a Pacific Ocean's specific genotype. the D7. D7 is very, very important. So you decide the mitochondria genotype of the D7. Okay. Yes, maybe the domestic pig come from the continent and the Asian, maybe the Asian wild boar moved to via the Thailand and the Singapore to the Malaysia and the Borneo Island to your country and the one route, and another is this is the Taiwan continent to the Taiwan to your to your country, the north of your country, like this. And mainly the two route of the migration route of the pig, domestic pig, like, and we decided. Okay, here, and we estimate the age of the migration from a continent to your country about 25 25,000 years ago to 70,000 years ago, maybe in the coming, and we estimate using the mitochondria as information. Okay, yes, okay, and we present, I present and present to you about the chicken and pigs, the genetic diversity and the genetic structure and the genetic relationships and the evolutionary history of the pigs and the wild boar in the Asian country, because that they are very important to improve the future breeding for your country and for the conservation of the genetic resources to the world. Okay, that's the finally, and the key message in my lecture, understanding understanding the genetic diversity, genetic structure, genetic relationships, and the evolutionary history of Asian and your country, the Philippine native domesticated the animals, and their ancestors, wild ones, are very important because this one, the improving the future breeding and the conservation of the genetic resources. Okay. Today, I introduce you that we can contribute to the sustainable food production by fully understanding the genetic characters of animals. For example, today is a chicken and pigs, and utilizing the useful the characters adapt so it's a good time. Thank you so much. That's all.
Excellent presentation, Dr. Nishibori. Your presentation served as an eye-opener, especially for our young agri-enthusiasts here in the Philippines, specifically on the advanced animal breeding. As you quoted a while ago, understanding the genetic diversity, structure, relationship, and evolutionary history are important for improving future breeding and will help us conserve the genetic resources of the world. So at this moment, we will take some time answering 3 questions from the online participants. So let me check the chat box. Okay, sir, we have one question. So here's the question, sir. Why do we use mitochondrial DNA in grouping our domesticated
To use, easy to get the genetic information with some molecular technique at first, and easy and the other country mainly the commercial chickens, haplogroup E. Haplogroup E chicken is a world standard chickens. World standard chickens not adapt to your country. So, and D is a maybe, and your country and Indonesia adapt to the your country and Indonesia. So at first, besides mitochondria's haplogroup D and haplogroup E or E, that is also the very important. We know to use so the improve the next new the breed for your country. Is it okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you po. Is there any additional questions from the
Yes.
online participants?
Yep.
We have here, sir. Let me read the question. What are the most effective breeding techniques for improving the genetic traits of a particular animal species? And how can these techniques be implemented in a practical and sustainable manner?
Okay. And yes, at first, this is also the for example, chickens. At first, this is a haplogroup D or haplogroup E, and the E chicken is no need for your country, and the D is important for your country. I know. At first, this is a mitochondria haplogroup D. Then, and the target of the haplogroup D chicken. Then, and the next one is the genomic analysis to the haplogroup D and find the key gene of adaptation of your of the climate and or mitochondria type D, then and use these chicken. mm, So we should the genomic
Additional questions from the participants? Last one question. If there's none, may we proceed to the awarding of Certificate of Appreciation. So, may I read to you the citation? And, but before that, may I request everyone to please open your camera. Okay.
Thank you so much.
So, Republic of National Webinar on Recent Agri-Trends 2023 with the theme Smart and Resilient Agriculture Towards Food Security, held on May 5, 2023 at Central Bicol State University of Agriculture. Given this 5th day of May 2023 at Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, San Jose, PD Camarines Sur. Signed Dr. Claribel C. Haber, Dean, Graduate School. Signed Alberto N. Napiri, DPA SUC President Board. Let's give a hand to Dr. Nishiburi Masagide. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. And the next time, so and I when I have so much many time, then and I will visit your university and more and I want to lecture for you. Thank you so much. Thanks
Thank
so
you so
much.
much, sir. Sir, may we have a photo opportunity with you, with our online participants? Wait, wait. Okay. Are you ready? Okay. Okay, so once again, thank you, Dr. Masahide Mitsubishi.
Thank
So
you so
before
much.
yes. So before we proceed to the next speaker, let me remind all the online participants that we are also on different pages of the University of Agriculture. So shout out to all the online viewers from the CBSUA Extension Division FB page, CBSUA official FB page, 𝐈𝐍𝐓𝐄𝐑𝐄𝐍 FB page, and CBSUA Extension YouTube channel. So we have 70 plus viewers. Okay, so moving forward. So our next speaker for this morning is a graduate of Veterinary Science and Medicine from the Central Luzon State University, Muñoz, Nueva Ecija. He started his career as an agricultural production technologist at the Sorsogon Provincial Agriculture Office in May 1989. He transferred to the National Meat Inspection Commission in 1990 as a meat control officer. He was then assigned in the province of Camarines Norte. In 1991, he was assigned in the provinces of Sorsogon and Masbate. In 2000, he became a senior meat control officer, and in 2003, he was promoted to supervising meat control officer. Today, he is the chief of the Plant Operations Standard and Monitoring Section of the National Meat Inspection Commission Regional Training Center 5. He will be discussing to us the status of African swine fever in the Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ernesto D. Tabi.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Good morning po.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning to the host and everyone out there. Could you open the car, please? And share the. Hello. In the meantime, I would like to greet each and every one of you from here in Region 5, Camarines Sur, to all the regions in the entire Philippines and outside the country. Morning, everyone. We're live here at Camarines Sur. The outset, I would like to representing the national means technical in San Jose, Pili Camarines Sur. So our agency all of ASF, the NMIS, together with other branches of the Department of Agriculture, particularly the regulatory unit of the Department of Agriculture, are concerned and tasked to assist in the control of African swine fever, which is now wreaking havoc, not only in the entire Philippines, I believe, but also in other Asian countries. So I will be presenting to you the update on the African swine fever as of April 11, 2023. We call this data from the official agency, which is the Bureau of Animal Industry, which is, of course, also under the Department of Agriculture. The BAI, or the Bureau of Animal Industry, is really the one tasked to provide these updates. And so I will be sharing to you about the updates on the African swine fever. As to the jurisdiction of our office, we to the of this slaughterhouses dahil mission. Ang ano namin, what really consists of the slaughterhouse for dressing plant, storage where meat are stored. Now, when it comes to outside, yeah, that's my presentation. When it comes, while the animal is still alive, it's also the control of other local government agencies, particularly the Municipal Agricultural Office, Provincial Veterinary Office, Municipal and City Veterinary Office. So I will be sharing to you the status of the African swine fever in data. So, African swine fever, ASF updates as of April 11. Ito yung, this is the latest one, 2023. Bulletin number 2023-04-01. These are the number of active ASF cases as of 11 of April 2023. So we have 7 regions affected, 10 of these 10 of provinces, and 35 municipalities and 78 barangays. Now, to give you a cumulative number of affected areas, that is from 2019 up to today, present, the total number of affected regions are 17. That means practically all the entire regions in the Republic of the Philippines were already affected. Now, the total number of affected provinces is 63, and the total number of affected cities and municipalities is 816. The total number of affected barangay is 4,422. I repeat, this is a cumulative number of affected areas from 2019 up to now. Next, we have these are the areas which were upgraded from red to pink. These are the protected zones. So as you can see in this particular diagram figure, the areas that were already upgraded from red to pink in Luzon is 254, in the Visayas 35, and Mindanao 26. And those upgraded from pink to yellow in Luzon was 78, and for the Visayas 3. Now, as you can see in the map of the Republic of the Philippines, you can show, we can view this, and by the looks of it, see, the red ones are the ones that were really infected. So as you can see, on the Luzon side, we have the region 3 and 4A. So there are, as I mentioned a while ago, there were 7 regions that were affected as of April 11. These are region 3, 4A, region 3, which is Central Luzon, 4A, which is Calabarzon, region 6, which is, I think, Western Visayas, region 7, Central Visayas, region 12, region 13, and BARM, autonomous region. So regions, the particular provinces that were affected were the provinces of Bulacan, Pampanga, and Nueva Ecija. As you can see, these are the municipalities that were affected. We have the San Ildefonso in Bulacan, the city of San Fernando, Pampanga, and municipality of Llanera and Nueva Ecija. So in region 3, we have 3 provinces that are affected. So for region 3, only one particular province in the Calabar area Quezon, particularly the Sitabas, the municipalities of Molanay and Mauban. Now, region 6, as you can see in this particular picture, there were more municipalities that were infected in region 6, which is Western Visayas, particularly the provinces of Capiz and Iloilo. For the province of Capiz, the municipalities infected were the municipalities of Dumarao, Panay, President Rojas, Rojas City, Tapas, Pilar, Ahoy, Barotac Nuevo, Balasan, Batad, Concepcion, Dingle, Dueñas, Estancia, San Dionisio, San Enrique, and Saraga. So, as you can see, mas maraming, there were more municipalities in the province of Iloilo that were infected as of April 11. Now for region 7, this is the Central Visayas. 2 provinces were province of Iloilo. As you might have, in Cebu. Because as you may have known in the past weeks, there were news that the provincial government is not allowing the population in that particular province, which is against the protocol of the ASF. The protocol is, if in a particular area there is also a confirmed ASF, then the population would follow. 500 meters from ground zero. That's it. But it seems that the municipal government of Cebu is not allowing it. Anyway, there have been some issues here. Anyway, that's to continue. Now for the Mindanao area, we have region 12, particularly Sultan Kudarat in the municipality of Lebak, wherein 2 barangays were affected. And lastly, we have region 13. I think this is Socsargen. We have the Surigao del Norte. Oh, in fact, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 6 municipalities in Surigao del Norte that were affected, particularly the municipalities of Burgos, Dapa, Del Carmen, General Luna, San Isidro, and Santa Monica. And finally, another affected region was the Bangsamoro, autonomous region for Muslim Mindanao, in Maguindanao del Sur, particularly the municipality of South Upi, wherein 2 barangays were affected. So it's fortunate that region 5 I am located, has no positive for ASF. So that's it for the updates on the African swine fever in the Republic of the Philippines as of April 11, 2023. And I believe in the coming weeks, the Bureau of Animal Industry will again be issuing an update for this coming May. I believe they will be issuing another bulletin for the update. So that's it, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ernesto D. Tabi, for the updates and fruitful presentation highlighted the status of African swine fever all over the Philippines. So at this moment, we will take some time answering the 3 questions from the online participants. So we have one question here, sir. So may I read to you the question? So as you presented guides, the cases of ASF are quickly increased this past month. Are the vaccines available to control this outbreak? Are there any breeds of swine that are identified as immune?
Completely unlike COVID-19, where there is already a vaccine. In the case of ASF, until now there is still no vaccine for prevention of ASF. As you know, prevention vaccine is usually to prevent the occurrence of particular disease, and it's really very unfortunate that until that they could not come up with a vaccine for use in the Philippines. And I believe in other Asian countries, they still don't have this vaccine for use. So the main control really is strict biosecurity measures. When you say strict biosecurity measures, we are referring to the limit the entry of, say, authorized from other from other pigs that will be coming into your backyard and seeing your pigs. So we should be limiting this kind of practice wherein buyers from outside would be going to the farm and they might be bringing some viruses. How? Through their, should we say, fomites, and sometimes through their youth, they could carry those viruses into your piggery or to your farm. So we are suggesting just still to implement strict biosecurity measures. And of course, use of disinfectants in the entrance to the and regular disinfection around the piggery.
Second question.
Okay, so thank you, sir. So another question from Region 10 from Ian Jones Sobrecare. So when and where it was started ASF in the Philippines?
So as far as I know, when I think it was 2019 when I think in the leftover plan. So from Asian countries, maybe there is a virus and laden in the food, and then they brought it to the Philippines, and there's a contractor of these pig's wheels, and which were brought to, I think, San Mateo Rizal, Rodriguez Rizal, and that started it all. Then yeah, because of the one way that was spreading it, in one pig is when one particular farm or farmer would see some lesions already, and they will slaughter the animal and then make it into a process and transport it to other areas that would spread the virus. So, in fact, there is one particular province in Calabarzon 4A, Region 4A, where they even the even the transport of processed pork products is prohibited. So that's one way of preventing really of African swine fever. Do we still have?
Please,
Thank you so much, Dr. Ernesto Tabing. So, is there
Yeah.
any additional question? Last question for Doc Ernesto. So, if none, so let's proceed to the awarding of Certificate of Appreciation. So, may I read to you the citation? So, Republic of the Philippines, Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, Certificate of Appreciation is hereby given to Dr. Ernesto B. Tabing in grateful appreciation and acknowledgement of his expertise as resource speaker on status of African swine fever in the Philippines during the conduct of international webinar on recent Agri-trends 2023 with the theme Smart and Resilient Agriculture Towards Food Security, held on May 5, 2023 at Central Bicol State University. NPA SUC President for. So once again, thank you, sir, for
Thank
your
you.
time. So, and may I request everyone to open the camera for photo documentation. Okay, so ready na po ba ang lahat? So, 1, 3. So much, sir.
kasi ikaw po, unmute mo po ito, makakaroon ka.
So let me introduce to you our next resource first. A degree Kebangsaan, Malaysia, and currently and has various publications on commodities such as rice and mustard. Let us welcome
Hello, can you hear me?
hello, sir. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for your time and consideration. As you introduced me, that my name is so for this today presentation, I will talk on organic farming. So can you go please to the next slide? Slides. benefits of organic farming, and also I will show the total area occupied by organic farming and the different benefits of organic farming. Okay. So before going to the details of organic farming or organic agriculture, I would shortly talk about the agricultures, and I will shortly define what is organic farming and what is the aim of organic farming. So actually agriculture is a big bone of any country. Without agriculture, we cannot survive. Also the animals in all the life, the human and animal as well, because agriculture is the one key factor that are producing food for any of the living organism of the country. So is somebody in the earlier time told that the food security is a burning issue nowadays and discussed everywhere in the world, but we cannot compromise for the food security with the food quality. So that's the aim of our today presentation, that how we can do sustainable agriculture. So actually organic farming is the production of crops and livestock without the use of synthetic chemicals and inorganic fertilizer. Later we will get what are these unorganic fertilizers and synthetic chemicals. And the aim of organic agriculture is organic agriculture aim at the human welfare without any harm to the environment, which is the foundation of human life itself. Organic agriculture and this what is so what is the here is the detail of the organic farming, that what is organic farming. So there are certain definition and the people, different people are calling organic farming in different ways, but it's according to the USDA, because I have included two different definition in my presentation. Organic agriculture is if somehow we cannot avoid it all, so we can largely exclude the use of these synthetic inputs like fertilizers, mostly chemical fertilizers, pesticides, hormones, and feed additives. Feed additives, the rest I can explain in the next slide, but feed additives are sometimes the livestock for the earlier growth or for increase the weight. Some people are giving them drugs or nutrition, which is too dangerous even though for that type of livestock and also for the consumption of other human beings. In being in organic farming, we are maximizing the extent feasibility that rely upon our crop rotations. Later we can discuss about the crop rotation, crop residues, animal manures, of organic waste, mineral grade rocks, additive, and biological system of nutrient mobilization and crop protection that we can rely instead of the upper section, which are chemical fertilizer and pesticides. And then next slide, please, because it's another definition. And according to the FAO, they suggested that organic agriculture is a unique production management system which promote and enhance agro ecosystem health with including biodiversity, biological cycles, and soil biological activity. And this is accomplished by the using of an autonomic biological and mechanical method and the exclusion of all synthetic of farm inputs. Next slide, please. These are just the sample. The previous one was just a sample definition. Now I will favor organic farming. In integrated organic farming, we can use some of the fertilizer up to some extent, or we can just relay is earlier in the definition. I told you that it's not the total elimination, but up to use up to some extent if we cannot totally avoid. So this is integrated organic farming, which includes the integration of pest management and nutrient management to achieve ecological requirements and demand. But pure organic farming means avoiding all the unnatural chemicals. In the pure organic agriculture farm, we have to avoid, or we are avoiding all the unnatural chemicals. In this process of farming, all the fertilizers and pesticides are obtained from the natural resource. No foreign organic farming. Next slide, please. Next page. Hello. Okay. So as we are talking about the organic farming and from the definitions and also the type, so there is a question that how if we are not using the chemical fertilizers or chemical or pesticides or weedicides, so how do we control the different pests, weeds, and other things? So I will take start from the natural pest control. So even though if we are not using the pesticides, and even if we are not using the chemical fertilizer, still there are many ways that we can control the pest. In organic farm, the pest can be controlled in many ways, like growing healthy crops that suffer less damage from the pest and disease. We are mostly growing the plants, so we check the plants that is there any damage or any wound in the plant later on, which can become the house or which become the attraction for the pest. So, and first we need to choose a healthy crops that has less damage from the pest. And second, we need to rely on the local varieties. That local variety, because this the local variety show more resistant to the local pest and disease than the introduced So these are the important because we still have some useful effect, concept of the weed. Next slide, please. I think I should control my own slides. With mulches. So what is mulches? Because I didn't mulches. Mulches mean to covering the ground with a layer of loose material. I'm sorry for not giving the picture here, but later you can search on Google and you can see the picture if this is not clear to you. So mulching is actually simple, this very simple thing. It's meant to covering the ground with a layer of loose material. What should be those loose material? It's very like whenever straw, dry grass, and leaves are crop residues. These are the loose material that we can use as a mulches. And what are the advantages of mulches? So there are a lot of advantages of mulches, and mostly in the organic farming is decreasing water loss due to the evaporation. If we are using mulches or we have mulches in our farm, we can decrease the loss of water from our soil in the form of evaporation. And this also reducing weeds growth by reducing the amount of soil reaching to the soil. Sorry, it's mistaken. This I put here soil, but it's the amount of light reaching to the soil. So how these mulches can reduce the growth of weeds? Because every plant, even though if it is weed or it is crop or whatever it needs light for the growth, because light is the most important component in the photosynthesis. Without the light, there is no possibility for the plant to carry out the photosynthesis. So if we have mulches, then in the next slide I can tell you that how we use mulches. So if you have mulch in your ground, the the the, the light will not reach to the weeds because it's you are covering them. So if the light and increasing the number of microorganisms in the topsoil, adding nutrient to the soil. And sorry, next the previous slide. I have still some things to tell to you. if it's rushing, you want me to finish quickly so I can finish it very fast. In the previous slide, it's okay. Don't need to go big because in the previous slide I will just say that it's adding nutrient to the soil and also adding organic matter to the soils. I'm talking about the mulches. That these are the advantages of mulches. That how we can take advantage of mulches. And now you can go to the next slide. That how we use mulches. How we use mulches. Okay. So mulch we can dry. The mulches will keep it dry and it will never get wet and it will be difficult for the plant's growth or the plant's performance. So mulches always apply to the warm and wet soil. Mulches applied to dry soil will keep the soil dry. And also care should be taken to the thickness of the mulches applied. As I told you in the previous slide that mulches is a layer of the loose material, and I also show you the material, the name of the material there is in the slide, that what kind of material we are used. But we here in this we must need to take care of the thickness, that how thick 10 centimeter, because in the next line I have shown that we must have used 10 centimeter. So if we are use the more thicker mulch, it will prevent the airflow and it will encourage the post. So the pest, sorry. So to allow the germination of the planted seeds, it's also one important that we have mulches, but we are planting some seeds. So to allow the germination of these planted seeds, a layer of less than 10 centimeters should be used. So this is the exact what I told you that how to use. So this is the, you can use up to the 10 centimeter of layer. And to clear an area of plant resistant weeds, area of 10 centimeter or more can be clear or more can be used. Next, please. Okay, as in the previous slide, I told you that in the mulches we can also use compost. And compost is in organic farming is the most important thing that you should must know about the compost, and you should must prepare your own compost. There's the difference between the organic and conventional farming. In the later slide, I can show you. Though in this, I'm sorry, it's too wordy. The slide I have put so many words, but it's actually for the understanding of you and also myself that how we define the compost, the first compost. So compost is organic matter, plant and animal residues, which has been rooted down by the action of bacteria or other organism or microorganism over the period of time. Materials such as leaves, fruit skin, and animal manure can be used to make compost. Compost is a cheap, easy to make, and is very effective material that can add it to the soil to improve soil and crop quality. So this is the most in any organic farm you must know about the composting. You must have the technique that how you can make the compost. So this here I have give the and mentioned about the information that how we can make the compost and from what material we can make the compost. And why the compost is so important? Because compost improve the soil structure. This allow how they improve the soil structure by allowing the more air into the soil, improve drainage, and reduce your soil, that your soil will be having ability to hold the water. So this stops soil from drying out in the time of drop. So if you are you are using compost and the compost is holding water, so in the drop season or in the time of drop, your crop will not dry out and it will not Okay, so here is as we talk about weed control and everything. So also we need to have some choice of crop because each and every crop cannot grow everywhere. Each crop and its variety has its own specific needs. In some area it will grow well, while in the other places it will not grow well. It will not show the same performance as it are showing at the previous time. Maybe it can grow, but if its growth doesn't mean that we can get the fruit. Sometimes it's growing in the area, but it's not giving us any production. It's not picking the fruits, or it doesn't have the fruits. So that's the mean of this slide. That how do we choose? Because every crop or every variety, sometimes even not only crop but variety inside the crop, they have some specific needs, and they can grow in one area very well, but in the other place it will not show the same performance. And mostly because this crop usually affected by what? Mostly the plants are affected by the soil type, that what type soil, and then the rainfall, because all the plants need, as I told you in the previous slide, that water, light, and carbon dioxide is most important thing for the plant. Is it is making food from these three things. And if there is one thing that is not available for the plant, even out of these three, like water, CO2, and light, so the plant will be not able to make any food. So this is the most important: the rainfall, the waters, and also the altitude and temperature and amount of water needed. These are the these can results or these can affect the crop, the type of nutrient or anyone. So we have to do a good choice of the crop or a specific area, and also you should know about your area that what crop can be grow. Or before going to the real farming, you can make like experimental plots, small plots, and then you can test many of the crops, and the one which is growing well in your area, you can choose for your farm. Next. Why they need why we need organic farming, as we are talking from since so many slides about the organic farming. So now we should think that why we need organic farming, because in the conventional farming or the other farming, here someone is using like 1 or 10 kgs of fertilizer to get fertility in the soil. So it is reducing slowly, and then it will increase up to the very high amount. Like every year you are increasing your volume. Is the same volume doesn't work, is the soil fertility is also reduced from the previous time. So you will need it in excessive amount. Excessive use of chemical has led to the soil, water, and air pollution. So it's in the first sentence that I told you that we are using excessive amount to get the fertility. So that will lead to the soil, water, and air pollution, because this is not only keeping in our soil, but it also going to the water bodies. So it also is spreading in the air. So it can cause the air and water pollution as well. So why we need to conserve our ecosystem and to promote sustainable development. And it is also inexpensive farming if we are considered to the conventional farming, because in conventional farming the pesticides, sometimes the fertilizers are very expensive. And it's here in the Philippines, I don't know, it's expensive, but in my country now it's getting a very highly expensive, and it's very difficult for the farmers that to buy all the that kind of fertilizer. So they are mixing in their own way and doing some homemade fertilizer. So organic farming is inexpensive as compared to the conventional. And also this is the due to the safety, is Dr. Rose told in her slide, safety of food. So due to the food safety, there is a high demand of organic food in the world. So increase the need of the organic farming. Due to the safety, it's very demand is very increased all over the world. Next slide, please. Okay, benefits of organic farming. I think I should environment friendly, promote sustainable development, healthy and tasty food, inexpensive process. Because why inexpensive process? Because we are using the organic input, and organic input are not too much expensive. So it is inexpensive as compared to the conventional, and it's generate the income. How generate the income? Is generating the income, source of income, and also source of employment. So organic farming is more labor intensive, so it's generate more employment sources for the labor. Next slide, please. Quick. This is the total area of the organic farming worldwide. I have give 10 color to the Philippines. That this is the area. I cannot say the figure how much is 483550. This is the area in the 2015 your amendment in the Philippine. I have here, but I forget exact date. I think it's 2010. So according to that one, organic agriculture amendment in 2016, it was considered that the Philippine area will be, the total area of organic farm will be 5% of the total area. So now is 5% or not? I don't know. I don't have any exact information. I'm sorry that I didn't read about the recent information, but country, but if we will look to the percentage, sheer percentage of the total agriculture area, so it is also almost 10.29%. So it's the highest. That it means that they are using more. They are mostly depending on the organic farming, and also most you can see in this figure that mostly the European country are they love to do organic farming. Next, please. Economical orientation, while organic farm is based on the ecological orientation, supplementing nutrient through chemical fertilizer. We already have talked about this. And organic farming, we are not using any chemical fertilizer. We are controlling the conventional farming. They are controlling the weeds by herbicide, but we are not controlling. We are controlling by crop rotation and cultural practices. This also I already explained in the previous slide. The pest control by pesticide, but here we are not controlling by pesticide. So these also I explained in the previous slide that how we control the pest. And there is a livestock really combined in the conventional farming, but in organic farming, livestock for production and health are combined. Using upside fertility upon resulting in erosion, already discussed about in the previous slide that if you are using any chemical for the soil fertility, so in these, this is the main difference between the conventional and organic farming. And I have explained one by one in the previous slides. So you can go to the next slide. These are the advantages. So I also have explained it one by one in the previous slide, but just to show you that what is the advantages, economical advantages, because in organic farming, we are not using the expensive fertilizer. We are not using seed. So that's why this is economically, we don't need to use extra expenses. So it's economically better than the conventional and good return on the investment. If we use cheaper input, so we get more. We can get the more return on our investment. And high demand is also have to explain that due to the food safety is the conventional method. They are using fertilizer, they are using pesticides, and they are even they are actually killing us slowly. So due to the food safety, it's the organic food is getting high demand. So it's another advantage. The nutritional is the most important. They are as compared to the chemical and fertilizer product. Organic products are more nutritional, tasty, and healthy, and good for the health. And environment friendly. This is also another main concern about the organic farming, that we in the first definition we say that we are not compromising with the environment. If we are using the conventional methods, we are spraying different pesticides, herbicides, weedicides, so we are directly affecting the environment. So these are the advantages of organic farming over conventional farming. Next. The last slide. So be happy because I'm going to say thank you to all of you. Food security is issue if the people will not eat enough insecticide. So we are also killing the people slowly, but not talking to them that we are killing you. This is just
Recording stopped.
it's not nothing to do with the food security, but the food distribution is most important. So
Recording in progress.
The most important is the safety of the people and the safety of the human and other living organism. So artificial pesticides can quickly find their way into the chains and water course. These are not limited to the field, but they are going to the water and they are making the water bodies dirty. And these water we are drinking, the other animals are, the lives are drinking. So this is very harm for them. This can create health hazard for humans. So it's already we explained earlier. And there is also much concern from those people using chemical pesticide. If they are using the spray machine and the body, mostly the skin cancer is carcinogenic. All these pesticides and chemical are carcinogenic. Nobody even write on the bottle that you can drink it. They will not say that you can. If it is too safe, they have to write that the pesticide you can drink or you can put on your body. But they will always write that be safe to put these type of chemicals in your body. So this is very dangerous for the human. So for the human safety, for the human life, we need to promote the organic farming and we need to say goodbye to the conventional farming and to the use of the still. I'm very thankful to you. Now, if there is any question, you can ask in the chat.
Awesome presentation, Mr. Absar. We strongly agree that in organic farming system, we can do a lot. We have many cultural management practices. So thank you so much, Mr. Absar. So now let's answer three questions from the online participants. Sir, we have one question. So based on your slide, organic farming has an ecological orientation.
Okay, I'm not getting the question very clearly because I'm not very well experienced, but I will just say that it's ecological orientation, even the developing country driven. In this case, it's still possible for the Philippines. If we are talking about the developing country that I show in the one slide, the developing countries, so even they are doing the high, but if uh, country, but it's something that is compromised with the food. You can still create enough food by organic farming. And the actual techniques. So if you are doing in organic farming using the actual techniques and using the actual knowledge that you have, you can get the more productivity rather than conventional farming. So it's still possible. The food will be safe, the food will be clean, tasty, and also the product will be more than conventional farming.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Absar. So is there any additional question from the online participants? So we can provide you of the presentations po. So after po ng ating international web.
This one.
organic farming fit into the broader context of sustainable agriculture and food system?
Sustainable agriculture is and organic farming is it's almost the same thing, that because in organic farming we are doing the sustainable agriculture, so it's the same, the sustainability of our environment and the sustainability of our food. So we are mostly in the organic farming. You can simply say that the sustainable farming also sustainable agriculture. So it does look like the same things, the same pit. So there is no other different, no different between these two worlds. Sustainability, agriculture, and food are the same as organic farming. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sorry, because I still I'm still doing the studies on organic farming. So if I'm wrong, I'm sorry for that. I can.
So, is there any more question from the online participant?
Thank you.
Okay, if there's none, so let's proceed to the awarding of Certificate of Appreciation. So, I read to you the citation. So, the Republic of the Philippines, Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, Certificate of Appreciation is hereby given to Mr. Absar in grateful appreciation and acknowledgement of his expertise as resource speaker on organic farming during the conduct of International Webinar on Recent Agri-Trends 2023. Theme, Smart and Resilient Agriculture Towards Food Security, held on May 5, 2023 at Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, San Jose, Camarines Sur. Given this 5th day of May 2023 at Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, San Jose, Camarines Sur. Signed, Dr. Claribel C. Haber, Dean, Graduate School. Signed, Alberto N. Naperi, TPA, SUC President 4. So, may I request everyone po to please open your cameras. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smile. Again, let's give a hand to Mr. Absar.
Thank you. Very much.
Okay, so time check. It's already 11:54. Kakaroon lang po muna tayo ng ating healthy break para sa ating lunch. So, remind lang po namin yung mga online participants to please fill out the attendance form na naka-ano po sa ating chat box and yung ating pong mga evaluation. Please make sure po na nakapag-fill out po kayo doon sa ating attendance sheet. So we will be right back at exactly 1 p.m. So see you later, guys.